Welcome to Grow My Etsy Shop podcast, the drips of knowledge you need to start growing.
Hey, welcome. So in full transparency, I've started and restarted this podcast a lot because I go down these weird rabbit holes and I think that is not useful. And so I'm doing my best to try to stay as useful as I can, talking about a subject that is not a complete, what's the way to say that? People don't know. There you go. People don't know what the future of AI bots actually look like. We can predict based on what we're seeing, but there's one thing that we're missing, and it's if humans will adopt this style of internet. So if we go back like 10 years and you're like, hey, I need to find a lasagna recipe. What was our process? We would go onto Google, we would search lasagna recipes, a bunch of blogs would show up, we would click on a bunch of blogs, read the recipes, see what we had in our fridge, go back and forth, and then we'd be like, oh, this one seems to match the ingredients that I have and give me the outcome that I'm looking for. Therefore, I'm going to use this one. So after our research of having the tabs open, going through all the clicks, one user at that stage was giving, somewhere between 3 to 7 clicks for one search, which is a lasagna recipe. Then you go, 6 years, 5 years ago. And what does that look like? Well, Google is getting better at that stage. And so we would type in lasagna recipes and pretty much the top 1, 2 is going to be the most popular lasagna recipes. And so our clicks went down a little bit and that's a goal of Google, is that they want to be able to provide the best answer at the top of their page. And so this for them, they're like, awesome, doing it. We're now entering what's been kind of coined in digital marketing as the zero-click revolution, which is that people aren't even clicking on websites anymore because the answer is being presented through synthesized reasoning, for lack of a better word, and then an assistant is providing the answer to you. So think about the last thing that you Googled. Just Google best lasagna recipes and you're going to find an AI summary on the top of Google that's going to say, hey, here's what works best. Here's what I recommend. If your kitchen sink broke, you would have to go down and look at the parts and Google the parts and figure stuff out. And then the internet got more advanced and pretty soon it was like, hey, here's some videos that could be really helpful for you. And like other ways to be found by content creators by providing videos or short form or blog posts or whatever it is that we were looking for that could be provided for us. And now you can go into more today and we can go right into an AI bot and say, hey, this is a situation that I'm having. This is the pipe that I'm looking at. This is what broke. Walk me through it. And I can have a full online experience that's pulling from Google and from the internet and from websites without ever clicking on any of those websites. And this is why we're entering into this zero-click revolution, is because Google and chatbots are becoming answers for us instead of brokers to websites. So it's natural to say, what does the e-com world look like then when this starts to drip into that? And has it already dripped into that? So let's first talk this. Where are we when it comes to AI taking over e-com? We're not far, but we're not close. This is typically how things need to work. And this is why we can't just nail down exactly step by step what's going to happen. We can look at trends, we can see what's projected, but projections are a incorrect way of looking at stuff. This is where a lot of people get in trouble with keyword projections and things like this, because you can look at a baby and be like, this baby grew 9 inches in 9 months. Based on projections, this baby's going to be 97 feet tall. You're like, no. And so you can do the same thing with business growth. Like, oh my gosh, I doubled my business my first year. In 5 years, I'll be at blank. It's like, no, Those are not correct. Something that affects trend keywords or just trends in general, or human behavior, when human behavior is mixed in it, is that it has to be adopted by a human for it to work. So we might trust AI today. We might trust the opinions or the curation that it gives us, or the assistance or the reasoning today, but that might change. We might not in the future. Or we might never trust it from an e-com standpoint. We might feel okay to having it tell us what the capital of Wisconsin is, but we don't feel comfortable with it buying our shoes for us. So the first thing we have to look at is to say, well, anytime there's going to be a trend that's going to take place, or a shift in how we do things, someone who has our trust has to take over first. So I feel like ChatGPT, I think we all know this, ChatGPT is not a profitable business. If you're looking at it based on how it is today, it doesn't make money. In fact, it is a money drainer. But people know that to be able to have the change that ChatGPT could potentially bring, or AI bots could bring, people have to trust it. That trust is how it works. Because once we trust something, we give ourselves to it. We follow it. It becomes something that we rely on. So ChatGPT is in the phase where it needs to earn our trust, and we need to rely on it, that we can't imagine life without it. And once we're in that position, that's where AI bots can then take us to the next spots. Because I'm not going to have an AI bot buy a cell phone for me. Who calls them cell phones? A smartphone for me. It doesn't quite know what I like. I'm comfortable with it telling me what I would like recommending. But I'm not going to blindly say to an AI bot, hey, I need a new smartphone. Can you buy me a new smartphone today? I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, hey, here's what I want. Here's what I like. Here's what I'm doing. Can you send me some stuff? Let me look. Let me click. Let me do my own research. And then I'm going to come back and say, I like this one. Do you see any trade-offs with this? And no. I'm just going to say, oh, yeah, no. And then say, all right, now I'm going to go buy this and close this purchase myself. And I'm going to go look and make sure and double look. We are not, as a people, ready for AI to buy things for us. But there are some things we'd be okay with. So this is where we start to see these brands, and this is usually when a revolution is going to take place, is when these bigger brands start to experiment with it. And if we sink our teeth into it, then everyone else follows suit, because what they can do is they can piggyback off of that. Think of Uber, for example. Uber has to earn the trust of people. Once Uber does it, how many taglines have you heard people say? It's like the Uber, but for food delivery. It's like for Uber, but for jobs. It's like for Uber. Because they're piggybacking off of this concept that trust already exists. So currently, we don't have that thing where it's like, oh, this is like the AI bots that buy for you, but cheaper. It's like, well, I don't have AI bots that buy for me. I don't trust them yet. So the first thing we have to look at is anyone big adopting this behavior? And the answer is yes. So some key players that we have entering this field, Walmart. Walmart has partnered with OpenAI, which means that I don't see why Walmart would, unless they're going to start using AI to be very familiar with what is available in their stores and allow people to shop via chatbot. Amazon is another one. They're launching a buy for me, I think is what it's called. And this idea of, hey, I need wipes, these lower end purchases. Hey, I need to refill my laundry stuff. I like the Tide pods. And have it be able to say, yeah, I'll find the cheapest Tide pods I can find on Amazon and get them to you. It's even going as far as to say, from what I can see based on what I was hearing people saying, is that it will even leave Amazon if it can't find it on Amazon and buy the cheapest, or within the parameters that you give it. Hey, I can spend this much on this. Find that for me. and it will research all of that for you. So what we're seeing is people are investing, like Perplexity is a browser that is heavily investing in this type of process as well, for it to be able to shop for you. I know Instacart is getting into this as well, using AI to just shop for you. So what we would see naturally before this hit this e-com is these simple purchases that we buy all the time and are already loyal to. Meaning there's no discovery needed. I know the type of soap I like. I know the type of shampoo I like. I know the type of whatever I like. So I'm comfortable to send someone to go buy those for me. That's what AI is trying to do right now. Hey, let me be the person who does that for you. So what we can see is, as soon as we start to trust that process, as soon as we rely on the speed and the time it's saving us, and we have positive experiences that it's saving us money, because maybe we couldn't spend the whole time scouring the internet to find the cheapest Tide Pods, but it could. As soon as that sinks in, and we trust it, and we are using it, and Amazon is just buying things for us, that's when the next wave will come. And that wave will be, now I want it to discover for me. Humans enjoy the discovery process. Think about finding new bands, discovering a new brand, finding something that you like, a food, a restaurant. We enjoy this process. However, we don't like to find nothing. Meaning we don't like to go to a restaurant and have a negative experience. We don't like to find a new music that we ended up only liking one song. We want winners. And AI's current goal in discovery is to help assist us to find those winners. That's how we use AI bots today, is that we say, hey, here's what I'm looking for. Here's my parameters. Here's what I want. Here's what I not like. Now just give me things that I can look at and I can make the final decision. And you're going to see AI bots are written this way. Think about if you were to ask ChatGPT, hey, I'm really into the band The Head and the Heart, and I'm looking for more sounds like this. This is how it's going. It's not going to say, Head and the Heart, here are 10 bands that sound like Head and the Heart. End. Do you know why? Now you may hear that and be like, no, they do. No. Listen to this next one. This is what they do. Here is a band I think you're really going to like. And here are other bands that are similar to this as well. Here's some context to why I think you would like this band. Here's some of the trade-offs that you might be missing from The Head and the Heart that this band doesn't have. And here's the next steps, or where you can go listen to this band to make that decision yourself. That's the formula it follows. Do you hear the difference? One was to say, similar to Google, which is just to say, here are 10 blog posts. Find the best lasagna recipe. Where this one says, hey, here is what I think, based off of reasoning, is the best lasagna recipe for you. Here's some others, in case you don't like them. But here's my reason why this one's good. And here's your next step. That's an important difference, because what's taking place is the AI bot wants to find the answer for you. It wants to present you the best option. So this means when we look at this from an e-com standpoint, when we start to get into AI bots doing the discovery for us, it's going to want to present someone the best option based on what it is that they want. A curated answer. You've heard me say this a lot, if you're a fan of this podcast, how much the importance of curation is, meaning that we are selling our products to people because it's people who are going to be sold to. The AI bot is going to take what it is that they want and try to find what they want, not just present them a product. What is it that they want? It wants to find the answer. Now, before we go into some CTAs about this kind of stuff, I do want to share something with you. And I think this is going to bring some peace of mind, because I know there's some of you sitting here thinking, oh, shiz. I don't want to have to worry about one more freaking thing in my life. I'm already trying to get discovered on social media. I'm trying to get discovered in search. I'm trying to get discovered in Etsy. I'm trying to get discovered. And I know that the overwhelm of discovery is intense. And if we're not doing all forms of discovery, then there's a FOMO feeling that's connected to that, but yet there's a time ROI that's associated with discovery. So we put this on the scale, and it's such a difficult internal battle that we have because we want to be found on Instagram. We want to be found on Pinterest. We want to be found on Facebook. We want to be found on TikTok. We want to be found on YouTube. We want to be found on Etsy search. We want to be found on Google. We want our blogs to be found. It's an endless list of ways to be discovered. But yet, if we are not on those platforms, we feel like we're missing out on opportunities. And yet, if we put ourselves on all those platforms, we find ourselves dipping our toe into a discovery process that isn't producing a high input for what we're getting, or an output based on the input we're giving. I know it's relatable. This is why, just to get a little bit off subject here, I can give you a quick sentence of advice. Have one organic strategy, have one paid strategy, focus on Etsy. Focus on Etsy. As soon as you get profitable on Etsy, because what's nice about Etsy is that you're not competing against the internet. You're not competing against Google. You're competing against people on Etsy. Then you can niche on Etsy, and now you're not even competing against all the people on Etsy. This gives you an opportunity to learn Etsy, become good at it, make some revenue. With your revenue, that allows you to then invest in some paid advertising in the same platform that you are working on organically. Have an organic strategy that's chipping time, a paid strategy that's expediting that time for you while creating revenue from Etsy. That's usually the sentence I'm going to give for people who have discovery overwhelm. Well, that was a podcast episode in itself. Let's get back to what we're talking about. I had to go back and listen to what I was talking about because I couldn't remember. I was talking about people being nervous about this new discovery. Oh my gosh, there's one more thing I have to worry about. I want you to know this first and foremost. Like I said, there is a process before this is going to be something. Some people are predicting it to like 2030 is when we would actually have the trust, the need, the tools, the assets. It would become mainstream enough that this is going to be a part of our traffic if it's adopted by human behavior. But currently, just so that we're all on the same page here, Google is 3,700 times bigger than ChatGPT, just based on search or people engaging with it. Google is doing 14 billion searches a day. ChatGPT is around 37 million prompts in a day. So though ChatGPT is growing, it doesn't hold anything close to what Google's doing. Meaning that people are still on Google searching, and with Gemini and AI overview within search, people are not seeing the need to jump over and adopt these new AI bots, but more just using integration with what they're currently used to, which is to search and then allowing AI to be part of that. I remember writing something down. I'm looking at my notes right now that it's 3%, but I don't know why I can't find that. But in my mind, it's saying 3% of traffic. So currently, what I'm saying here is that 97% of traffic can still be found the exact same way that it's always been found. And there's this 3% of traffic that is a little bit different. So before you're like, oh my gosh, I got to work on something else, or this is going to be the next big thing for my business, I don't want you to feel that way. Because if you win that 3%, you're not going to see life-changing numbers. Yet is the word here, though. Because though it's at 3% now, it probably is going to grow. In fact, I'm looking right now for that 20... Gosh, here it is. I got it. 15 to 25% of AI traffic by 2030. That's what is predicted. So by 2030, somewhere between 15 to 25% of our traffic will be AI driven. So how can we prepare? That's what you've been waiting for. And now I'm going to deliver it to you. This is what I learned at my conference. I sat there. I asked questions myself. These were smart people in the room. And I left this conference, and this was literally my question or my comment that I had. I raised my hand and I said, this sounds like normal SEO. And they said, yeah, 90%. Because some guy went down some rabbit hole about how AI can't read JavaScript, and so you got to do blah, 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 blah. But he's just some nerd. And some other guy went down some big rabbit hole about, I can't even remember. And I raised my hand when that person went down this. It was, I can't remember what exactly what. And I said, is what he's talking about important enough that we should hire someone in our business to fix it? And he said, no. Okay, thanks for wasting my time. So what I left from this, after I go through all of this and you hear all this, you're like, oh my gosh, is like, oh, turns out everything that we're doing for SEO currently, for the search engines, the AI bots are using a really similar process to find that information. So how does it choose the best snorkel mask to recommend to someone when someone asks for the best snorkel mask? It uses the same thing Google uses to be at the top of the page. Authority, evidence, backlinks, reviews, all of those things that Google uses, it's connected to us as well. So then you're like, okay, I'm an Etsy shop owner. When AI starts to kick in for Etsy shopping and people are just describing things that they want, how is that going to affect me? Okay, well, as long as I'm describing my product very clearly, check, you should be. As long as my sales conversion is good, so people go through, once they go through my photos, they understand my product and they purchase, which gives evidence of that people want to buy it. It's priced fair, all those kind of things. Like, check, you should be doing that. Then lots of people have spoken about the reviews or the concerns that were solved based on buying my product. Yeah, Etsy's collecting reviews and people are doing, yep. Then that's how it's going to So what I'm learning and what I'm seeing is the exact same things that build authority on Etsy, the same things that build authority on Google, are the same things that are going to be building authority with AI bots. So what should you be doing? You should be double downing on organic growth. I had a great conversation with someone yesterday in my school group. We got talking about something, and she was mentioned that she'd tripled or doubled her website traffic, and we said, let's see what you're doing. And so she opened up her Google Console, and we went through it as a group, and she shared with the group some of the SEO techniques that she was using, just that she was putting more effort into her blogs, and she was using tools to do this. And she was then, once getting data from those blogs, like they started to work and she started to see the keywords that they were searching, some of the things she even brought up were like, even just the order was important, because she would take a blog post, she would see the traffic keywords that were being searched to find that post. She would see that they might be in reverse order or being said differently, and then she would change her titles, her H1s and stuff like that to match what people were searching, and then from there was receiving more traffic to what she was doing. This is a great technique. My advice to her was, are you doing this with your Etsy stuff? And she was like, well, no. And I was like, this is such great data. You are seeing exactly how people are searching for particular questions, and you can now place that into your own Etsy shops to help that when someone is wanting to find wanting to find a product, they type in the exact phrase that you have, and now you've connected that really well. And when we get into AI and we get into those kind of things, presenting information to people, which I do think Etsy's going to get there eventually, we want to be able to have those questions that people ask be answered within so that way the AI bot can read those and be like, here's the answer to your question, and we're gaining authority. So currently, you may look at your stuff and be like, well, I don't want my website to just solve questions to people or answers, because it doesn't provide a sale to me. For example, this woman sells crochet patterns. And if one of her blog posts teaches about, how crochet is a relaxing hobby. Does that necessarily, I mean, I guess you could correlate that over, but is it a direct CTA to what she's selling? No. But what it does is, as people start to go to that because that's what they're searching for, it gives her site more authority because people are receiving answers from this. This boosts her whole site. And then on top of this, as AI bots are crawling through and looking for answers, that's giving boost to her site. So the idea is these blog posts aren't supposed to be the thing that's the discovery for someone to buy from you, but can also be the thing that chips at and gives you the authority that then boosts your whole site. Similar to when we're on Etsy and we see a product do well for us, that product is boosting our entire shop, not just our listing. So what's my CTA? Keep doing what you're doing. I think that building an online brand is no different, and we shouldn't be afraid or following the fear that our chatbots need to be. They're not. I sat in the room with a lot of smart people, and we all sort of looked at each other and we're like, okay, yeah, it sounds like we're supposed to be doing what we've always sort of been doing, and that the bots are going to just continue to grow, and as they continue to grow, as long as you're in a good position, you will have authority in that growth. If you like this kind of stuff, or you hear me talk about that school group, and you're like, dude, I want to see what that girl's doing or whatever, come join. Come join. I'll tell you what, I'll run a little special this week. So if you haven't checked out the school group, go click the link in the thing and come check it out. Okay, guys, till next week.